Hi guys, well, welcome back to round 2. I love these so much. I love them. I love Teddy Ursa.
Teddy Ursa is so underrated.
It's actually a really cute. This is actually a really cute plushie. Sorry, Alan, I'm keeping it. Anyway, round 2.
Let's go.
We've got Giovanni Costa versus Tricia Solomon. Kind of a rematch from their top 4 match last time over here.
Wow, Gio just locked in right away. We see him carrying Kyogre, Duskmane, Necrozma, Incineroar, Talonflame, Gengar, and Ludicolo, while Tricia's got Ferrothorn, Groudon, Incineroar, Reshiram, Tapu Fini, and Tapu Lele.
Oh wow, so Tricia's definitely got both the terrain controls here. We know that she really likes running Reshiram, and she's really good at using it. Gio bringing in that Kyogre, which has been just sort of dominant in both sensories and in series. Duskmane and Cosmo, which has been a favorite of his, left over from Sun. Talonflame, which has been kind of on the up and up. The Gale Wings ability giving you priority Fly EMZ, gives you priority flying type moves as long as you're at full HP. Which has been nerfed, as everybody who's played from previous Talonflame years knows that, you know, it's no longer the same as it was before, but finding a lot of usage lately, like Megan and wow, Diana Ross, using it to a full extent back at Dallas.
We're going to see Tricia here come out with that Reshiram, Tapu Lele, and Giovanni leading Duskmane, Necrozma, and Incineroar right off the bat. You can see that fake out from Incineroar is not going to get any use thanks to that Psychic Terrain. And we're gonna
you've got the Psychic Terrain coming up first here, the Intimidate going after that Turbo plays here. So Trish's General Orb actually gonna be the item of choice here on top of Lele, gonna raise up that speed. Interesting to note here that even though Incineroar won't be able to use Fake Out due to Psychic Terrain, Duskmane Necrozma is actually gonna get a little bit of boost to that Photon Geyser thanks to the fact that you are on Psychic Terrain as well. So Trish is going to have to kind of consider the fact that her Tapu Lele might be in a little bit of trouble here. It is going to be a fast Pokemon now, thanks to that +2 from the Adrenaline Orb, but I think she's still going to have to be wary about the fact that both of Gio's Pokemon here could just deal some damage.
And Gio going to switch out that Incineroar. Can't really do anything anyway. Going into Kyogre, setting up that Drizzle. Going to be able to not only get a boost in its power, he's got that Ludicolo possibly coming in later, as we see Taunt go on to the Duskmane Necrozma, preventing any possible Trick Rooms. Because Tricia's going for Tailwind, does not want to get that speed reversed right back on her. But Necrozma sees this coming, goes for the Photon Geyser, and that is going to target onto that Reshiram and get rid of it almost! But it hangs on with just a little bit of HP left.
I mean, this is one of those things where people who have played each other multiple times know each other's team, because that taunt going into the end, Gio kind of understanding, oh nope, we've done this dance before, and not going for that trick room. So now he has to kind of figure out though, because he is going to have the slower Pokemon on the field thanks to that Tailwind from Trish's side. And I mean, that Reshiram is going to be on sort of its last legs here. We do know that it's had a Z move before, could still be running the same team. A lot of people here and a lot of people in general tend to run the same team consistently when they have good results from it, and Trish has gotten really good results with his team. But that Kyogre is going to be a bit of a heavy threat. It hasn't locked into a move yet, and it's not going to be sort of a Choice Scarf variant, but it's going to be switching out on this turn.
Kyogre, like you said, switching out. We're going to see Incineroar come back in, get another Intimidate off. Still can't use Fake Out, and its Fire type moves are now lowered in power thanks to the rain. But we're going to see a double switch. Giovanni now going into that Ludicolo, and now, like I was saying earlier, that rain is going to boost its speed. We see the Reshiram Protect, essentially a wasted Protect thanks to Giovanni's double switch. But this Psyshock is going to target that Incineroar. Nothing happened except double switch from Gio.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually really good for him because none of his Pokemon take damage on their switch in. Ludicolo, with that Swift ability, is going to get that boost in speed as well. And, like you'd mentioned, that boost from the rain, so Scalds are going to really hurt here. Tricia doesn't want to deal with that, loses the speed boost on that Tapu Lele, but brings in Groudon and brings in the Sun as well. So a little bit of weather competition here between these two. The problem here now is, you know, you're trying to protect Kyogre if you're Gio, and that's why you bring in this Incineroar. Ludicolo is also going to protect itself because it doesn't want to be sort of hit by anything on Trish's side, as Blue Flare is going to go into that Ludicolo with that Protect, as U-turn is going to take out that Reshiram on this turn, allowing Gio to pivot back, and is most likely going to bring back in that Kyogre.
Exactly what I was thinking. That Kyogre now in a perfect spot to switch in. It's going to force Tricia to get rid of the Groudon, and we saw the Lele switch out. Whatever Pokemon Tricia switches into, the Lele or whatever her... Oh, it's not. It's Necrozma. Interesting. I thought that Kyogre was definitely going in, but now the Taunt is gone. So the Trick Room is a possibility here for Giovanni. Just gotta be careful with that Groudon because Precipice Blades could do a lot of damage. And Tricia now coming in with Incineroar. That double target might be scary.
Yeah, the thing here is, you know, Incineroar is kind of like your only bet at this point to kind of bring in, even with that Tapu Lele in the back, it's not going to be able to do much now that that Decimated Necrozma on the field. The thing is, Tricia has to really consider that Necrozma has been consistently seen as like something bulkier, so it could, you know, it could withstand a Precipice Blades at some point and go for the Trick Room, and Tricia can't even go for her own Fake Out. I mean, if you double down into that Necrozma, then you stop that, but then you're taking attacks from that Ludicolo, which is also not something you want to do. So, no. I mean, even now what you could do is you could switch out the Necrozma, bring in the Kyogre, boost the Ludicolo, and like, or switch out the Ludicolo instead.
There you go, going into Incineroar. But Giovanni, I think he knows, you could see up there in the corner, the Tailwind is going to run out this turn. So if the Trick Room comes out, Tricia's prepared here. She's got that Incineroar and Groudon. That is going to do, we're going to see a Z Crystal here. It's going to be that Groundium Z from Groudon. But in this case, what I was saying is the Tailwind does run out this turn. It seems like Tricia, by going into Incineroar, is going to be able to position herself into a decent spot, even with the reverse speed.
That Intimidate might actually make a huge world difference here, as the Decimated Necrozma is going to be taking that that Tectonic Rage, manages to hold on, activates the weakness policy, and I mean this is something where Gio has kind of set up because he's understanding that that is a possibility with the fact that Groudon has been so popular. Necrozma, man, these Intimidates are so nice. As Necrozma holds on by 1 HP, does get a special attack drop, but it is more like that attack is a heavy attacker. Has that weakness policy activation, has this psychic terrain boost, but Groudon also holding on by 1 HP. However, it can't recover on this as Tailwind does expire on this turn. So these Pokemon are literally hanging on by a thread.
That was probably one of the most entertaining exchanges we've seen. That was really cool. What do you think the best play for these guys are? They're in the very similar positions here.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Gio's Pokemon are slower, so he's very aware of that, I think, at this point, and it's a matter of, I think one of them's definitely going to protect him, like, if he wants to keep that Necrozma around for another turn, it's so boosted by all the Pokemon here, and I think Tricia also has to realize, if she doesn't get rid of, like, that Necrozma, then that Tapu Lele can bring back in that Psychic Terrain to help boost it, so it is just one of those kind of, like, mind games at this point.
Well, Necrozma is going to go down. Thanks to that U-turn from Tricia's Incineroar, her Groudon also protected, preventing anything from touching that. And now we're going to see her switch into that Tapu Lele. That's the only Mon she has left. And now the question for Gio is, who did he target? Is he going to go for that knockout on the Groudon, or is he going to go for that Lele, anticipating that knockout on his Necrozma? He did the latter. And now we're going to see something switch in, something that could definitely be helped with the rain. Either Kyogre to set it up or Ludicolo, who can come in and deal some massive damage, especially with an open slot on the right.
Yeah, I mean, the fun thing here is, if you bring in both Incineroar and Ludicolo, you have two Fake Outs, right? And, like, even bringing Kyogre right now, like, you get that double boost for Ludicolo. You can stop now Tricia from being able to switch out and reset the weather later on. I mean, Gio's putting himself in a position where he's really just able to get that dominant weather and set up with Ludicolo and Kyogre, which are at full health. I mean, that Incineroar in the back is not going to be able to do much. Groudon's on its literal last HP, and Tapu Lele alone doesn't have enough firepower to be able to take out almost all of Gio's team. I mean, you've got the Incineroar, you have Kyogre, and you have Ludicolo. A lot of these Pokemon are still at full health.
Well, Tricia wants that Groudon to get that sun back up by switching out into the Incineroar. We're going to see that Intimidating affect both of Gio's Pokemon, though it's not going to do anything useful. Both of these are special attackers. And we see the Protect on Tapu Lele. That was definitely smart to make sure that her Tapu Lele survives the turn. We see the Fake Out actually targeting Tapu Lele instead, while Giovanni's Kyogre goes for the Water Spout in an attempt to get rid of that Incineroar and, you know, full power Water Spout in the rain. There's no way that thing's surviving it.
Yeah, I mean, now that Groudon's going to be back on the field, I mean, Gio can just kind of start cycling out again, right? So you can bring in the Incineroar and then bring back in that Kyogre for later on. I mean, right now, his biggest kind of like win conditions is keeping that Ludicolo around, because now you have that Groudon who, actually, no, you can just click Water Spout still and like win and just double down into that Tapu Lele, because I think he's actually slower than the Groudon, because a lot of his Pokemon have just been generative, so like we saw that Necrozma be slower, actually thanks to that Tailwind, but now it's just you click stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. I think Giovanni, I think his Kyogre is slower. I know we've seen that in the past, where he's played Kyogre with Trick Room. The Incineroar switch in here, getting that Intimidate, making sure it could survive a Precipice Blades from Tricia's Groudon, and Ludicolo protecting to make sure that it'll survive long enough to keep the rain in its favor later. A Moonblast from the Tapu Lele targeting the Ludicolo and the Precipice Blades is going to come out from Tricia's side. And like I said, thanks to that Intimidate, that Incineroar is going to take it. It's going to get it down just above 25% of health. And now with the Fake Out pressure on the field, Tricia's Groudon is either going to go down or has to protect.
That, like, even at -1, that Incineroar is still holding on pretty well. It is outside of barrier range though. If he's got a berry on that Incineroar, Fake Out, so that poor Tapu Lele.
That Lele is just brutally, slowly taking damage here.
Yeah, and I mean, like, at this point, like, the game is basically over. I mean, so Life Orb being revealed on Ludicolo, there's just not much that Tricia can do. She can't really hit anything on her, especially if Gio has the option to just kind of, like, cycle Fake Outs, and then he's got that full health Kyogre in the back. So one of those things where surviving those attacks early on and forcing kind of switch outs from that Tapu Lele and then having that Reshiram go down was just really important for Gio to win this.
Yep. It's going to take the Move Bust from Tapu Lele as well. Grass Knot from Ludicolo coming out. It brings the Lele down to around 20% health, and the Flare Blitz in the Sun is going to deal the final blow. I'm amazed that the bulk of that Incineroar, that thing, I bet that thing...
Wrestlers are thick.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I don't know. What do you think it is? Is it invested in defense and special defense, or do you think it's just max HP, max attack?
The only one who will know that is Gio. Actually, I think max HP Incineroar is 202 HP. So we can see next game when he decides to bring it in. I mean, the hard thing about this matchup is that I don't think there was anything that Trish really did wrong. I think if you know you're going to go up against Kyogre, part of you maybe wants to bring in a Tapu Fini or a Ferrothorn, but then the other problem is you have so many options on Gio's side to be able to take care of that. You know, you've got Talonflame, you've got Necrozma, you've got the Ludicolo, so you've got ways of taking care of the other Pokemon on Trish's side, and I think part of it is you have to bring either Groudon or Reshiram, and both of those are weak to Gio's Kyogre, and it just kind of puts you in a position where you have to help support whatever restricted you're going to bring.
It's funny, Giovanni, he's got this really good combination, double water types, double fire types, because say Tricia decides to counter the Kyogre and the Ludicolo with her Ferrothorn, that goes down to Incineroar and Talonflame, so it's hard to find a balance that can take out all of them without taking massive damage or getting knocked out in the way.
We've only seen one Z move so far, by the way, and that was on Tricia's side. So we actually, and we've seen Life Orb on Ludicolo, we've seen Weakness Policy on Decimated Cosma. We haven't seen an item on Kyogre, we don't know the item on Incineroar yet, really. I'm probably gonna go with either Berry or, because he loves this item so much, it's the Assault Vest. I don't know why you would do that. I'm giving him shade even on stream. I never do that ever. It's one of the few times like I actually do that to him. I'm generally really nice to him. Miguel's
laughing in the back.
So, I'm nice enough. But yeah, I'm going into game 2, so we'll see exactly how Trish decides to adjust here.
We're going to see that same lead from Giovanni's side, Necrozma and Incineroar, but we're going to see a bit of a different lead with Tricia going with Reshiram and Tapu Fini instead of Tapu Lele. We're going to see now the Turbo Blaze. That means Reshiram is going to go first, then the Misty Surge, and then the Intimidate. And we know with Necrozma being able to use that Trick Room, Giovanni's definitely got the slower 2 on the field here. The Intimidate's not going to do anything to affect Tricia as well, as both of her Pokemon are special attackers.
Her Tapu Fini is slower than her Tapu Lele because Psychic Trainer went up first that last turn, but I think this is a really good adjustment for Tricia here because Tapu Fini has been one of those Pokemon we've seen in Moon Series that's been relegated back to support, including in Sun Series actually, but just so supportive now and takes Water type moves really well. Reshiram going for that Protect now.
And with that Protect, so is Necrozma, both the Legends going for that Protect. Unlike the last round, this time Incineroar does have the opportunity to Fake Out, but it doesn't go for that, as we see Nature's Madness from Tapu Fini affect the Necrozma and Reshiram, protecting a U-turn there from Incineroar, so nothing happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a really good call on both of their parts. They understood that those restricteds on their sides were going to be the heavy targets. Nature's Madness has been notoriously, for this season for some reason, has always hit, like, I think I've seen it miss maybe twice. It's maybe missed twice on stream for me that I've seen. And like Tapu Fini is just notorious for somehow landing almost every single one of the Nature's Madnesses that it like puts out there. And It's one of those moves that's just so frustrating because it takes out half of your HP immediately, and there's nothing you can do to kind of just stop it. So I think both of them need to figure out how they're going to pivot around that.
Well, Reshiram's going to get out, go into Incineroar instead. Giovanni gets both of his Pokemon intimidated, and they are both physical attackers, so it's definitely going to do something on his side, but he's going to get his own Incineroar out, switching into Kyogre, and now with that Drizzle in play, Tricia's Incineroar is weakened, so we're pretty much going back and forth like a ping pong match, you know? The Nature's Madness this time, like you said, it's going to hit. I mean, just always does. With that Necrozma, now gets down to half health, and the Photon Geyser is going to target the Incineroar. No Trick Room this turn.
Yeah, I was actually expecting a Trick Room if he was going to bring in that Kyogre, because now that he's at half health, he's going to have to kind of figure out he's going to have to take a Fake Out at one point, and I mean, Tricia getting in that Incineroar for almost free just gets the Intimidate and doesn't take that Photon Geyser. It's going to be a little tough for Geo, I think, because now that Kyogre has a chance to get faked out, and he doesn't want that to happen at this point.
Incineroar coming back from Geo's side, and it is the 202 health there, so we can kind of figure that out. The Intimidate's going to definitely affect Tricia's own Incineroar, especially with a possible fake-out knockoff combination.
Critical hit Fake Out. Watch it. Okay.
No, Nature's Madness coming back out, though, and this time double targeting on that Incineroar with the fake-out Nature's Madness. Both of Giovanni's Pokemon down to half their health, but he now has set up the Trick Room, has a bit of an advantage. In addition, his Incineroar can use fake-out now.
You can use Fake Out, you can use U-Turn. I mean, at this point, Necrozma's in a really nice position to go after either Pokemon here. I mean, both the Pokemon on Tricia's side are more support than anything. I mean, Tapu Fini with the Nature's Madness has dealt a lot of damage to Geo's side, but now that he's in Trick Room mode, as long as he's able to kind of capitalize on those next couple of turns, he's going to be able to at least put Tricia on the back foot. I mean, she's not going to bring in that Reshiram to do the Tailwind thing that we know that Reshiram likes to do. And as long as he's able to just kind of bring in that Kyogre in a safe spot and click Water Spout or Origin Pulse if you've got that move as well, even with that chance to kind of miss, you're still in a very good spot.
The U-turn coming out from Giovanni's side. We also see that his Incineroar is going to be the slower one or faster in Trick Room. And with that U-turn, like you said, perfect spot to go in with that Kyogre. There's not very much that Tricia can do, but going into Ludicolo in the Trick Room, that is interesting. Does that Ludicolo not have Swift Swim?
I don't know why would you run Group Play? Like, does it get Rain Dance?
I don't know.
Miguel and I are like, what other abilities does Ludicolo get? Because we haven't seen any of the other ones that we remember anymore.
That's crazy. We see the Sunsteel Strike also hit that Tapu Fini, and the U-turn is going to do massive damage on Giovanni's Incineroar, getting it almost down to half health. And Tricia can switch in here to something safer.
You're gonna bring in the Groudon, right? Because now what? You can like Fake Out, or you can stop that Groudon. You bring in your Kyogre again, and like actually this is still a pretty okay spot because
no, it's not bad.
The problem is like Tapu Fini can only really go for Nature's Madness, right? It connects again. Okay, somebody keep track of how many times this Nature's Madness is, because Dustman Necrozma is gonna be in like a pretty precarious spot. But if you Fake Out something here, right, and you bring in Intimidate, or you try to bring in Kyogre later on, as long as you can stop that Groudon and Reshiram combination, I mean, I think Tricia's adjustment to Tapu Fini has been paying off dividends now, because even though Geo's managed to get up that Trick Room, he's in a position where he's not able to really capitalize on it. I mean, you've got the Incineroar back, you're going to get the Intimidate, you're going to get the double Fake Out for this turn and next turn. The problem is you have to figure out when you're going to bring in a Kyogre. So like what, you Fake Out the Groudon now, or you Fake Out the Tapu Fini, and then you Fake Out the next turn the Groudon, and you manually switch out your Ludicolo, and you bring in your Kyogre, and then your Kyogre's going to be fastest, and then, that's when you go for Water Spout.
Well, another Nature's Madness is coming out on Tapu Fini. I think it's 4 right now.
Yep.
And Ludicolo did go for that Fake Out on Groudon. Ludicolo was essentially on a bit of a timer here. The Life Orb's gonna put it down to maybe 2 or 3 more turns. Incineroar does have Fake Out.
You manually switch out here at this point, because you can bring in that Kyogre. Your Incineroar has that Fake Out. You Fake Out the Groudon, and your Kyogre is like in a great spot. I think you've only got like what? This is your second to last turn of Trick Room, so at least you get one water move. You get one Water Spout off. Tricia has to make that choice of which Pokemon to. She's actually gonna withdraw that Tapu Fini.
And that is going to switch on into Incineroar once again. This is a good time for Giovanni to get in that Kyogre, because both of Tricia's Pokemon are weak to water.
Actually, I think it's still a really tough spot.
It is. It is tricky.
Now she has the Fake Out.
That is true.
She can stop that Kyogre for that next turn.
No.
And that is the last turn of Trick Room too. So it's a risky play though, because you also have to watch out for the Ludicolo. And it is at low enough health, but Groudon's going to need to Fire Punch me, essentially, or you don't know with Groudon. I mean, it could carry Stone Edge, could carry Rock Slide, and the Kyogre coming in. There is that chance of a miss on the Ludicolo. I don't know. I think that's maybe Giovanni's one saving grace here. Oh, Ludicolo didn't move yet. There we go. It's going to go for that Hydro Pump onto the Incineroar, and that Fake Out's gone.
Yeah, it's the last Pokemon because it's going to be the fastest thing to do that Trick Room mode. And next turn is going to be the fastest because now we're out of Trick Room. And that's actually going to be really fun because Groudon has to either force himself to switch out or risk getting hit by another Hydro Pump or get hit by Kyogre. And even if you bring in that Incineroar, you're not going to be able to do anything, but it is going to be that Kyogre God. I mean, that's one of those. This is going to be very interesting. You've got both your restricteds on here and a water type Pokemon supporting it. So I think this is now officially your last turn of Trick Room.
Yep.
There's no Intimidate. Oh, sorry, there's no Fake Out on the field here. So essentially, what you're doing is you're clicking Water Spout and then you're going after that Tapu Fini. I mean, Groudon could protect on this turn. Oh, wait, did it protect last turn? At this point, this game has been going for a very long time, guys.
We're going to see the swap out to Incineroar, though, putting back Fake Out pressure and Intimidate onto Tricia's Pokemon.
Two or three.
2 or 3, I think. Yeah. So Kyogre goes for that Water Spout.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter. That Groudon is gone, and the top of Mini's going to survive with just a sliver of HP
berry
left. That berry is going to activate. There you go. So now Tricia down to Reshiram, Tapu Fini here. I don't know. I mean, you do have this. Oh, a Heal Pulse attempt. A little too late there. Although Tricia, I think, does have the faster Pokemon. You have the Fake Out from Incineroar. That's a bit threatening. And then you Fake Out the Reshiram and click Water Spout, essentially.
Reshiram's in trouble no matter
Yeah,
what.
yeah. Reshiram, it's in a very, very bad spot because Ludicolo and Kyogre, that combination is really just hard for Reshiram in general. So.
You just, what do you do against, like, even with Ludicolo, like at what 21 HP, I think is what it was at, like with that life orb damage, you have the Fake Out pressure here. So I mean, yeah, you can Nature's Madness now if you want, but just be like, no, we'll just bring Ludicolo in there. Like,
oh no, he's going to make Crossman.
And we'll just set up a Kyogre for just a better spot later on.
Reshiram going to protect, try maybe survive a little bit, hope for a better spot. Tapu Fini wants Giovanni's side to get slow with that Icy Wind. It's going to hit and actually crit on the Incineroar. It is going to lower the speed of both of Giovanni's Pokemon. And at this point, Incineroar is going to U-turn, get out into one of the 2 water types that is in the back. But with the Necrozma out, if it sets up Trick Room, then Tricia's in a bad spot. But if it doesn't set up Trick Room and Tricia decides to knock it out, then it's still in a bad spot.
Ludicolo is like a smart choice here because you Fake Out something that can. Because wait, you Fake Out the Reshiram and you set up Trick Room because if that Tapu Fini, most Tapu Fini haven't been carrying Taunt lately. So what you do is like you Nature's Madness it, but it doesn't matter because you can't knock out at that. Like you can't knock out Necrozma unless you use Reshiram, and Ludicolo is on the field for that Fake Out pressure. So at this point, Gio's just doing his absolute best to make sure he sets up properly for Kyogre to come back in and just quick Water Spout, get rid of all these Pokemon here. So
there's the Fake Out, just like you said. Ludicolo is going to survive barely with 1 turn, and another Icy one going to come out. That's going to get rid of the Ludicolo, but at this point, you just need to set up that Trick Room, and Necrozma is definitely going to take that Icy Wind. And again, if you set up Trick Room, that's kind of like a blessing in disguise for Giovanni with that Icy Wind, because now he's at +2 in speed right there.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like the Icy Wind. The reason it helps Gio here is because he doesn't have to worry about manually switching out. If you're Gio, you wanted that Ludicolo to go down that turn. Like you wanted Trish to attack you with Icy Wind because now you bring in Kyogre for free. You set up Trick Room, and what she's done is essentially give you a free switch. And like Ludicolo at that point was just like you were getting rid of it either way. And if Trish got rid of it for him, which she did, for him it's just a matter of okay, cool, it's perfect because now I like bring in Kyogre for free. I click Water Spout here. You can't really do anything except prolong the inevitable.
Prolong the inevitable. I like that.
So
Sunsteel Strike coming out from Giovanni's side. That is the insanely long animation. This is still not as bad as Z.
Have you seen Light That Burns the Sky?
It's not as bad as the Z crystals, but it's one of the long. It still is like feels a little bit long. As we do see that knockout on the top of Fini. Water Spout, single target in the rain. Bye bye, Reshiram. And Giovanni Costa takes the game.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those instances where you just kind of watch somebody who figures out, like, this is always what's so interesting to me, is you watch people set up for such a long-term endgame, because at that point, like, Gio's continuously pivoting and making sure that his Kyogre's in a proper spot to sort of sweep against Trish. Like, no matter what, like, even though she was down to her last 2 Pokemon, it's a matter of, I need to set up so my Kyogre's in the perfect spot, right? So,
well, that was round number 2. We'll see you for round number 3 in just a few moments.
A lot of people playing.
Yeah.
Oh.